The old man knew that the marlin would soon start circling the boat, but why had it suddenly started jumping? Perhaps it had become desperate because of hunger, or perhaps it had felt frightened by something. But it could not be fear, as this marlin seemed to be strong, calm, and confident. Then the old man realized that he himself had to be fearless and confident in this situation. He waited for the fish to circle and the fight with the marlin to begin. The sun was rising for the third time since the old man had started on his voyage. The fish now began to circle. The old man slipped his shoulders and head from under the line and began to pull in line steadily and gently. He used both his hands in a swinging motion and tried to do the pulling as much as he could with his body and his legs. The circles made by the marlin were very big, but the old man knew that the strain would shorten its circle each time. The old man now felt tired to his very bones. But the circles were much shorter now, and he could judge that the fish had steadily risen higher in the water. For an hour, the old man had been seeing black spots before his eyes. The black spots were due to the tension of his pulling on the line. And twice he had felt dizzy, and that had worried him. He did not want to die in a struggle with a fish of this proportion. Now that the fish was coming up, he needed God's help. He promised to say 100 Our Fathers and 100 Hail Marys, though not just then. At this point, the old man felt a sudden jerking on the line. It seemed that the fish was hitting the wire leader with its spear. The fish was now likely to jump, but the old man wanted it not to do so, because jumping movements might enable the fish to throw out the hook. After a while, the fish stopped hitting the wire leader and started circling again. The old man was gaining line steadily now, but he felt faint. He lifted some water with his left hand and put it on his head and on the back of his neck. He had to last till he could kill the fish. But he felt that he was more tired now than he had ever been in his life. The sea had risen considerably because of the breeze, but it was a fair weather breeze which would prove favorable to the old man on his return voyage. At the end of one of its circles, the fish came to the surface just 30 yards away from the boat. The old man saw its tail above the water. The tail was higher than a big scythe blade. The old man was now gaining line, and he thought that in 2 more turns he would have a chance to drive his harpoon into the fish, though in order to do so he must get the fish close to the boat. On the next circle, the fish's back was above the water, but it was a little too far from the boat. A little later, the fish was still too far away, but it was higher out of water. By gaining some more line, the old man could have the fish alongside the boat. He had rigged his harpoon long before, and he was ready with it. The old man was then able to bring the fish somewhat closer to the boat. However, each time the old man tried to make use of his weapon, the fish moved away. It seemed to the old man that the fish was bent upon killing him through sheer exhaustion. But he did not care who killed whom. Never had he seen a greater or more beautiful, or a calmer or more noble thing than this fish, which was his brother. The old man now prepared himself for another opportunity to attack the fish. He summoned all his remaining strength and his long-gone pride, and he pitted these against the fish. The fish was now swimming gently close to the boat. The old man lifted his harpoon as high as he could and drove it with all his strength into the fish's side. He felt the iron enter the fish's body, and leaning upon it, he drove the harpoon further. The sharp, stinging pain maddened the fish, which leaped out of the water, showing all its length and width and all its power and beauty. The fish seemed to hang in the air above the old man in the skiff. Then it fell into the water with a crash, which sent spray over the old man and over the whole skiff. The old man saw the shaft of the harpoon projecting from the fish's shoulder, and the surface of the sea becoming red with the blood from the fish's heart. The fish, the old man's brother, was now dead.